Hey everybody, this is the start of part 15, segment 1, October 27th of the Anglia Street Rod project by the two old guys. And let me catch up a little bit since we finished up the last one. First off, you sharp-eyed viewers will notice the oil pan on the garage floor underneath the Anglia when we rolled it out. The third member, which I guess they call the pumpkin these days, when it was installed, the gasket is leaking a bit, so the oil pan is to keep the drippings. What's going to happen is when the body is removed from the frame to get it, powder coated, Lou?
Yeah.
Powder coated, then we'll replace the gasket on the third member. So anyway, the next thing is that when I was talking about the valve cover, I said blue point instead of blueprint.
Yeah.
That's because in the 50s and early 60s I was a foreign car mechanic, and I worked a lot with Blue Point radios from Germany, which was like the Cadillac of car radios, actually called Blaupunkt in German. So I got a little trouble remembering yesterday, but boy, I sure could remember many years ago. Anyway, it's blueprint, not blue point. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, we adjusted the steering box to get some excessive play out of it, and had to do the big nut first because probably when we took it apart, if you remember way back, now that it's in and turned a couple of times, I had to readjust the bottom bearing under the big nut first, and then the small nut up top. And maybe later today we'll test that and see how good it is. But in the meantime, over here, those are the two replacement Melling push rods. And at the same time, Lou ordered a low-car emergency brake handle, which you see there. And you think that's going to go where?
Yeah, I'm thinking about probably, I was thinking maybe here. But more I could think of it, I think I can mount it here.
Yeah, probably.
I'll build a little flat, because this actually, this here, it'll drop down this much inside, so that, like that.
Okay, and there's room with the drive shaft.
Yeah, and then there's plenty of room underneath here.
Okay.
So if I build a little box on top, and then this will mount, it'll sit up. Well, just a skoshie lower, but it's sit right there.
So will that part where your left hand and thumb is be underneath the box?
Yeah, the box will
go across.
Yeah, cover this. Will go
okay.
right above that.
All right, got it.
See that's about. There's the height of it right there.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That much will be underneath.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing is you got the replacement tack from Speedway. That's the Stewart Warner. We're tired of messing with the no-name stuff. And there's the Stewart Warner tack, which you've tested and it works fine.
It works. Yep.
Yeah, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pull the valve covers off, and we're going to check the left side to make sure we don't have anything bent on that, which we don't think that's going to be the case. And then on the right side, we'll take that previously bent push rod out and replace it with the replacement push rod. So I'm going to pause here, and we'll be back after we get the covers off. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, on the left side bank, the new push rod has replaced the slightly still bent push rod, and it's been adjusted back to the same point on the depth from here to the top of here to get the same adjustment on that valve rocker. So we're okay now on the driver's side, left side. We're gonna now switch over. I'm gonna pause again, and we're gonna go do the other side. Okay, passenger side valve cover's been removed, and similar to the other side, this bolt, if it were too long, would interfere with this push rod. And for some reason, it was not contacting wasn't that deep as it was on the other side. So that's number 5 exhaust and number 4 exhaust. That's the problem. Now in the meantime, Lou has removed the excess washers and he's replaced these bolts with 3/4 inch stainless steel bolts on all 4 bolts, on 2 on each side. So what we did was just to make sure, we loosened up, took a measurement to the depth of the nut, and then took and loosened this up enough so that I could spin the push rod and look down and see that it was not bent. So we're okay on this side. That's good. Kind of thought that was the case, but it's good to check. All right, so pausing here, we'll be back later. Hi, back again. What I didn't mention was that Lou's got the speedometer cable all hooked up. The first one, the nut that went down on the transmission end was cross-threaded, wouldn't work. So that had to be returned and a new one. But the new one is okay and it's been since installed. It should be working. So everything's back together. 2 valve covers, push rod, new on the other side. What's next is Lou's going to make a temporary seat so that he can have more fun
Stability.
moving the car around. Anyway, there you can see he's got the plan already. He's going to make it out of plywood, bolted in so he doesn't have to sit on the milk crate. So at that point, I think we've covered everything, with one exception. Got a comment in, can't remember the viewer's name, but talking about the distributor shaft depth problem that we had, and indicating he thought perhaps it was the speedometer gear that had to be changed. So I got to thinking about it, and I wanted to mention that the depth, we took depth measurements with the distributor out to the top of the oil pump shaft, which is a groove, and then the distributor itself shaft, not the gear, but the shaft is what fits with the tongue into that groove, with the diameter of that fitting up inside the gear. So what is wrong, apparently, not what is wrong, what we have is the distributor will not go fully down. And by the way, that's both the HEI and this replacement early Chevy type distributor, which are from 2 disparate sources, and they both had the same identical measurement of problem and not quite seating down that 1/16 of an inch or so. So what's happened is the length of the distributor shaft, where it fits on the tongue into the oil pump shaft groove, is a tad too long. And I would suspicion probably that the fault lies with the intake manifold. And I did some research and did find out that that's not a problem that's new. It's been encountered for some time. So anyway, the point is that, and we talked about it, if we took the distributor, took the rollout pin out and removed the distributor gear, then we would take the end of the tongue, the tang tongue, whatever you want to call it, and we could grind that slightly.
Yeah.
And then the whole distributor, and then reassemble the gear with the pin, and then it would fit down. But we didn't want to mess with it at that time. Maybe later, we'll see. Oh, that's about it. I think I'm going to wrap this segment 1 up of part 15, and we'll catch you on the next.
Well, then we need to show Miss still. She's still running.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's going to be a little noisy in here. Oh.
No electrons.
No electrons without turning the main switch on.
Sounds good. 650 on the tack. Sounds good. All right, I'm going to close this segment off. We'll catch you in the next one. I just did a little magnified shot of the grommet where the cables go through.
Yeah.
Just to show that viewer who commented the poor quality of the shot I had didn't clearly show that there was a grommet there, but as you can see there is. Okay, really truly this is the end. Bye-bye. All right, we're recording. It's October 1st, early in the morning here in Keller, Texas, and it's a cold morning. It was 31 degrees. Quite a switch from a month ago when we were over 100. But anyway, this is the Anglia street rod build by Buitrago and Bob. Let's see, part 15, segment 2. And what we've got is the emergency brake has been installed. Lou made a nice looking box there, bracket, it's tied in. And yesterday we went and adjusted the cables, but the Wilwood emergency brake on this Ford rear end is conventional drum brakes inside the disc, and unfortunately they're not adjusted out, and they're a little bit of a pain in the butt. We just got underneath the car and we couldn't get them to turn, so I think that the star wheel is tight into the thing. So rather than take everything apart, which involves pulling all the brakes and wheels off, we're going to defer that until later on. For now, the emergency brake looks pretty, but it just doesn't work. It will later. And by the way, while I'm underneath this guy, I wanted to get a shot. Excuse me while I groan and moan here for a bit. But I wanted to get a shot of the other side. And yeah, good, thanks. There's the fuel pump. And I guess from this angle I can't see the underside of the emergency brake cables, but they're in. Anyway, that's the bottom side. This is a short segment. It's going to take me a few minutes to get off the floor, so I'm going to pause here. Be back in a little bit. Well, I'm still on the ground. Boy, looks busy under here. Here you can see the emergency brake cable setup. 2 cables from the wheel. There's the bottom side connected to the top. Boy, like I say, it looks busy. Thinking all the stuff we did to get to this point. Looks pretty nice. All right. Still haven't got up off the floor, so bear with me. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm up from the floor. Took me a little bit to do it. What we're going to do next is Lou is going to make the seats out of plywood, which we discussed the last little bit ago. And I thought that the seats were just going to be something temporary, but actually you're going to make the seat frames.
Well, I think I'll make a seat frame, and then I can always have an upholstery. If the seat frame comes out halfway decent and does what I want it to do, we just have it upholstered.
Okay.
You know?
Well, that beats rolling around a junkyard trying to find
really,
some
because
seats.
it's going to have to be pretty narrow, and the way the room in there is.
Okay.
So we'll see how that comes out. If not, then make a trip to the wrecking yard and see what find in bucket seats.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been a short segment, obviously. With that, I'll leave you and we'll catch you all later. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm filming. It's November the 3rd. Oh, no, dogs. Come on.
Come on, girls. Come on.
November the 3rd, 2023. Lou Buitrago and the Anglia Street Rod Project with Bob as helper. This is part 15, segment 3. I got dogs trying to lick me because I'm laying on the floor. Come on, get away, get away, get away. I'm going to shoot right to a problem we discovered yesterday. if you look up here, you can see that curved piece with the nut is actually the rear end side of the panhard bar. And if you look close where the nut is there, you can see it's too close to the rear cross member. And when Lou was a little guy yesterday and took it for another ride around the corner, he could get a bumping noise, which would be slight movement, not enough clearance. Not a problem, because there's many ways we can adjust it out. It's just a little goof that we missed. We'll probably end up drilling the hole there a little bit lower and cutting the top off, and or maybe also adjusting the shocks to raise it up a bit. Well, anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to pause this and get out from underneath the car. Hang on. All right, we're back. Look, no more egg crate. Lou has made a seat, and that's what prompted him to road test it yesterday, and it sat okay, worked all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see he's got a metal box on the bottom to support the front, and that's semi-permanently mounted, because one of the options is that the seat could actually be trimmed a little bit more and then actually upholstered in place at the upholstery shop whenever we get to that. So you're gonna make a second one?
Yeah, I'll make another one like that.
Okay, he's gonna duplicate that, put it on the passenger side. And let's see, what else? The emergency brake works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were able to, underneath the left rear brake drum inside the disc drum was able to be adjusted with the star wheel. It was not locked tight. Knowing that was the issue, Lou then went over to the other side that we started with and got it freed and was able to adjust both brakes. So, well, that pulls up now under tension.
Yes, sure.
All right. Yep, an emergency brake.
It's emergency brake.
Doing okay. So, what is next, Lou? The seat, obviously.
Yeah, I'll build the other seat, get that done. Now, waiting for the rear seal.
Oh, for the trunk.
Trunk.
Yeah, what we did is we ordered on the Anglia, rubber seal is glued to this flange, and then the trunk fits against it. Lou ordered a rubber seal with a trunk, which is modified in that it's got a slot in it to fit into this instead of just being glued. So we're waiting on that to come, and then we're going to have fun and games, because this is normally a shallow depression on the steel body where the outer hinge goes.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to do some work to figure out how to.
Yeah, it's gonna have to sink in, see how far out that baby is.
Yeah, that's what that step is for, right? This is recessed.
Yeah,
in the steel
should
body.
It should sit in there, something like that.
I suppose worst comes to worst, we could cut this out and make it not so deep. One of the possibilities. Yeah, one of the things we're planning on doing is going over and seeing our friend Jim with the green Anglia that you saw in earlier segments and parts. He has a steel body stored someplace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to see if we can arrange it with Jim to go look at that steel body, and then I'll take a bunch of videos and still pictures and so on to give us some more ideas of what's going on. This will be another problem point, mounting all this stuff. But that's good. We're kind of transitioning into the body work, which we're not looking forward to.
Yeah, it's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
This is all, I don't know how, the gap in the gasket is. This might have to be sanded way down.
This might be too thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good and bad news. The good news is the body is solid.
Yeah, it's
not one of those flimsy, gassy fiberglass bodies.
No,
But the bad news is making everything fit.
Yeah.
So I think, anything else we want to talk about, Lou?
No, that's about it for right now.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to end this segment, and probably going to publish part 15 later on today or tomorrow, since we got about probably 18 minutes. Get it out there. Got a lot of positive response to part 14, and I appreciate that. Like you viewers making your comments. And Lou, you just said something about the brake pedal?
Oh, yeah. Another screw up. Originally, the thought was going to put the master cylinder up higher. But somehow we ended up where it's at, and actually right in here is getting foot clearance. So to solve that problem, I'll just make a new pedal or a new arm and bring this here part up, up
Okay,
to
so the
about
arm will be shorter,
here. Yeah.
means you won't get as much leverage.
Well, you still get the leverage.
But
You're going to be.
Well,
pushing from
hang
here.
on. You
ain't
told
gonna-
me yesterday that with the power booster,
Yeah.
you practically breathe on the pedal and the car comes to a stop.
Yeah.
So we're not going to lose any
Yeah.
mechanical advantage when we
just,
shorten the throw.
Put it up. This will be a little bit higher up here, so it gives
Yeah.
you more leg room underneath.
Well, that's another benefit of driving it around the block, right?
yeah. Get to find out where all the screw ups are.
Yeah. Okay, so viewers, we'll see you on the next. It'll be part 16 coming up. But obviously, we're making progress. All right, thank you for watching. Catch you all later. Bye bye.